What's up, everybody? Brothers, sisters, psychonauts, and seekers of truth. It is Ananka, and welcome to my bazaar. Today, I have a Salvia trip report for you. The title of this trip report is Told Me Everything I Can't Remember, and was submitted to Erowid in 2007 by the user Salvia First Try. With all that being said, let our story begin. I got some extract fortified leaves from a friend. Enough for 4 hits. 2 for me, and 2 for my wife. I decided to go first and then report back to her to decide if it's good to take or what. After the first hit, I didn't notice much, but I held it in and got the second one ready. I remembered that I was supposed to torch it really good, so I did that and inhaled the second hit. Before that was over, I started noticing some psychedelic effect. I remembered that was as far as I had gotten the first time I tried it, years ago. But after I exhaled the second hit, I could tell I was going further this time. The smoke was still in the air when a huge, loud, rushing pulse wave, whatever, it was like whoosh. Salvia kind of works in levels like that for me, I guess. It's like whoosh, and I'm on the next level. And whoosh, I'm on the next. And then whoosh, I come back. I couldn't sit up anymore. I fell back against the couch, and my body felt all drugged. Kind of like anesthesia, 'cause I couldn't feel any pain. I was in the reporter mode, trying to communicate to my wife what it was doing to me. I said to her in a voice that sounded distant and loud, with lots of reverb and echo on it, or, whoa, like the first thing it does is make the room start moving. And it was. In the smoke that still hadn't cleared, the lighting of the whole room had changed, and the room was starting to kind of tear apart at various places where the shadows and the smoke were cutting the walls. And then, everything was sliced up into pieces, and it was all zooming toward me. It was the world, sliced up into a billion million pieces, all laid out in front of me. One of them was being offered to me. A voice that I didn't really hear, but was communicating with through pure psychic feeling. Such a powerful, strong feeling that I was absolutely sure it was not coming from my own self. It was telling me that this was my piece of the world, and I should take it, and do what I will with it. That this is the true nature of all existence on this earth. I was so shocked. I was almost yelling. I was saying, really? I hadn't yet taken the piece that was offered to me. I didn't really know how, actually, but before I could ask, I was told that I had to put my arms in a kind of C formation. This salvia spirit or voice or presence that was talking to me had a lot of attitude, kind of just smacking me upside the face with the great truth, and telling me so simply exactly what it was in a matter of seconds that it made me feel stupid for not knowing all along. I kind of felt him/her yelling to me, duh, grab this piece of the earth and come with me and I'll show you. Silly human consciousness, but you'll never know everything. And I had the attitude of, oh yeah, well I can handle any of this psychedelic trickery. I'm in it for the truth. Who are you and what can you show me? Now I'm not going to totally lie and brag and tell the story like I wasn't secretly shitting my pants in the background of my consciousness. I was damn scared, believe me. So I put my arms around, or into, this slice of the earth that was being offered as mine. I was still sitting down, but by doing this, I almost felt like I was standing. It didn't work the first time, but it's kind of like puking. It doesn't come up on the first heave, but then there was a second heave, and I was totally melted into it. I was gone for a moment, but soon I found myself in the next level. Remember the whoosh? It was there again. So after I was sucked in, I got to see how it works in the spirit world. I guess that's what it is. Every soul that's gathered around this planet has a piece of it to make as they will. They make changes by injecting themselves into the living creatures of the earth to carry out whatever mission. So I saw the planet as my soul sees it, a warm ball of potential, which currently, on this trip, according to me anyway, was looking kind of gray and polluted in a lot of places, but not black, gray. So there's still hope, right? It looked kind of oil spilled, but we still all have a piece in it. I'm on the couch, leaning back heavily, no doubt. In the Salvia trance, I feel almost as I'm lying on my back with all my limbs out, the limbs of my soul. And I'm staring up at this huge ball of liquid energy that is our planet. And I'm kind of swimming in it, paddling my arms and legs in it to try and spin in the right direction. We are all out here paddling on this planet, and hardly anyone realizes it. So they're all paddling in weird opposite directions and threatening to throw the planet out of alignment with their ignorance. At this point, I had the feeling like everyone should smoke salvia so they can know like I know. I started feeling like I had figured everything out, and I was really getting to higher consciousness. I was feeling like I knew everything, and I started feeling attitude rise up in myself. Kind of proud. I was here where I shouldn't be, smoking the herb I shouldn't smoke and knowing what I should not know. But I should know, and I do know. I was feeling kind of sinful even. The taboo of eating chocolate, or the kind of rush I would get from drinking from the fountain of youth. I jumped off the planet at some point. Whoosh. And I was still with my back to the stars and facing the earth, watching it get smaller. Just watching the earth, feeling like I was flying and on fire, and so very cool, so very bad. It was at this point that I noticed I was still on the couch, but that was pretty far away. My wife was there looking back at me, asking me how it was. I felt like I had this really evil look in my face, and I say this because I could see my own face. I said the following words: "It's great. Go ahead, take yours. Take your piece. Take it." Or something to that effect. I felt like I said it in the way my friends tried to get me to try pot in the early days. Like it's all bad and stuff and you'll be cool by doing it. But at that point, I was the ultimate cool. I felt great, and I wanted her to see what I was seeing. It was all so real. I actually thought that if she smoked it, she would instantly be there with me, and we could go flying around the galaxy. I was flying in Earth's orbit. I really felt like the trip was going to last for days, or that time totally did not matter. even though my wife was right there as a reference to actual existing time. I was totally deceived by Salvia. Right then, she started to take her hits. I saw her melting into her section of the earth, like I had done. But the effects were just starting to wear off for me, so that's all I got to see. The voice was still in my head and talking to me, but more had the attitude of that friend on the phone that doesn't feel like talking anymore and is looking for ways to end the conversation. And I was in the role of, but wait, what about this? And what about that? Wait. The questions were being answered, but the voice was becoming softer to the point where I think I kind of answered the last couple before I realized I was talking to myself. I started to realize that time was stuck, that I was creating my whole reality by setting the synapses in my brain, and if my imagination ceased to function, time would cave in, and I really would have nothing at all. I felt claustrophobic for a moment as the room kind of shrunk around me, and time froze to nothing at all. I looked to my wife, but she was completely frozen. I tried to ask her something, but she was on Salvia herself by this time, which I had completely forgotten for some reason or another, and she could not answer me. She didn't move, so I was stuck, but trying not to panic. I calmed myself and tried to think rationally. At some point, I remembered the drug and that she had taken it second and that I had taken it first. I saw that millions of beings on this earth have taken it throughout history. I saw them in a line, as though they were sitting on the infinite couch to the left and to the right of us. I stopped being panicked about the idea that my wife isn't real, that she's just my imaginary love that my existence needs, so I'm creating her on the fly by every moment. That thought was so scary and fake and gross, so I just rejected it. It was just the coming down heebie-jeebies, I said to myself, and proceeded to wait, wanting help. Eventually, she started moving her arms in strange angles, though not the same as mine. I tried to stand up, and it was kind of hard. I tried to do my arm movements, but I pretty much knew it was over, and I wasn't going to get sucked in. But then, I wasn't really sure about anything. I didn't know how long it was supposed to last, or if I would come back all of a sudden or what. But it didn't come back. And after a few minutes, my head had pretty much cleared up, and my wife came back to reality. Then I realized that I had probably messed with her trip by trying to talk to her and ask her questions while I was coming down and all disoriented. I guess I was scared. I wasn't really scared until the end. I had no trouble getting out of reality, but I just didn't think I could go back to normal life after being outside like that. Salvia talked me back into it, though. All the questions I asked about how this couldn't be real, and that it's so lame that if I'm the one who's creating my wife. Somehow, Salvia told me that's the way it works. I'm creating my wife, and she's creating me. And in that way, we are separate entities, but we exist as one. When I run out of ideas, she'll think of something. Reality won't cease to exist after all. I felt like if she hadn't been there next to me, also smoking salvia, that I could have been completely lost. The words I was saying out loud to rationalize my re-entry to this world didn't make any sense at all. I couldn't describe in words the infinite loop of me smoking being necessary to her smoking being necessary to me smoking being necessary to existing. But it was all exactly the way it was supposed to be, or it wouldn't have worked. That was the message Salvia left me with. For a moment, it all made sense. And I totally understood why everything had to be the way it was. But right after it all left, I couldn't make sense of those words I had just said, and it slipped away. The basic message that me and my wife are obvious soulmates could never be forgotten, though. It would not have worked without her there. I know you're supposed to use a sober sitter. Maybe that's why I felt evil when I told her to take it, even though I was still tripping. I felt like I knew everything, and that she should know everything too. 'Cause it's alright, damn it. As long as I've got synapses, I'm going to stimulate them and see what I can see. Drugs is the right of every human, and I feel damn sorry for all the poor people of the world that can't afford drugs. They should have one of those, just 70 cents a day can keep this kid from stealing your CD player to buy drugs commercials. I'd donate. They'd send you pictures later of your kid all strung out and happy and stuff. It would be great.